Well, last week of spring practice here. Looking forward to Saturday and the showcase, but lots of good work to get done here these next 3 days and finish this thing off strong and get great attention to detail as we come down the stretch here to polish it up and give our fans and our community a good show on Saturday. What questions you guys got?
Clean piece of paper. Is this different starting from square one here as compared to starting from square one at Kent State?
Yeah, every single spot is unique. Every situation that you go into has different strengths and weaknesses to it. So, yeah, every year one is uniquely different as you're implementing your systems and your schemes as you go through it. And the relationships and the people and the staff are different in each spots, right? So that's what makes this so fun. Year in and year out, you get to reinvent yourself as coaches to better lead and to better serve. And it's been fun building these relationships, developing trust within the building, and doing the work collectively together.
Can you talk about the format for the spring game? How are the teams going to be divided? Is there going to be a reward for the winners? Things like that?
Yeah, so it'll be more of an open practice than it is per se a game. We're going to just divide the team offensively and defensively, create some one-on-one situations early on to get the competitive juices flowing. We'll do some different sections of 7-on-7 throw game, whether it's in the open field or in the red zone, and then we'll put the ball down for the second half of the scrimmage and play out some regular, down and distance situations. We'll get some work in the alumni zone in between the 40, and then we'll finish the day up, in the high red zone area and play a little game that we call red zone lockout. That's been a fun competitive deal, and at the end of that, there'll be a little something for the winners and the guys who come up short.
Coach, a lot of Aztec fans, basketball's over. They're finally turning their attention toward football. Can you talk a little about the quarterback situation and how it stands right now leading into this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are doing a great job competing, right? They've done a great job learning. They both have had their good days, their highs and their lows as we go through it all, but they're still neck and neck, and they'll both get work, with the starting unit, on Saturday and throughout the whole week. They've been, getting that good work, but, it's very much still wide open as those guys continue to compete, and they're doing a good job with it.
Do you expect to have a starter named by the end of spring practice?
No, we won't have anything named. There's still more work to be done. And again, I want to have a good sample size to know who's going to be the best guy to lead our team into the future as we go forward with it. So we won't name anyone, until we get closer to the season.
How much of the offense would you say has been installed in spring so far, if you have a percentage on it?
I mean, the majority of it, so I would say over 80%, right? There's some situational stuff that we'll get through, but that's going to be the fun thing this week is that the volume of installation in all three phases goes way down this week. So now we get the opportunity to really, again, refine the details, how we want things done. And at this point in time, now guys should be able to really not be thinking as much and go play and really showcase who they are and what they bring to the table.
Will we see a lot of that offense on Saturday?
No. It is going to be toned down and it's going to be vanilla. Obviously, there's great attraction into it, but there's still very much a paranoid ball coach in me. So it'll be a vanilla script, but it'll still be a very fun and exciting day.
Hey, Coach, what's the one thing that you really want to see happen in this game on Saturday or workout, as you phrase it? What are you looking for?
Yeah, the biggest thing is how we go about it, right? And every time that we go out, I know there's going to be things that we need to execute at a higher level, right? But the competitive spirit, the competitive maturity of the guys as we go, no matter who goes out there and what situation that we put in front of them, how they go compete, the attitude and the energy that they bring, and the excitement that they have to play this beautiful game. Like, those are the things that I want to see, and those are the things that our fans should be able to see, that our kids truly enjoy and are having fun playing the game of football.
Just a description of AJ, a quarterback. Give me a description of Danny O'Neal and where they've made their jump and what you like about them.
Yeah, I mean, so they're both very, very cerebral kids. I would say Danny's a little bit more vocal, high energy, where AJ is a little bit more cerebral and laid back. They both do a really good job of processing. I think both of them, again, just getting the repetition and the time on task of developing a relationship with their wide receivers. It's been really good to see their accuracy go up. And, again, as we continue to work through it, I think they would both be the first ones to tell you that, their deep ball accuracy is something that they want to really strive on and work on to get better as we move through this last week and through summer. But they're both well-rounded kids. They're both incredibly hardworking, and all four of those kids, not just Danny and AJ, but Javance and Crum. It's amazing how tight those guys are, and through the leadership of Coach Johnson, it's great to sit in there with those guys. They all have each other's back, and they go about the work the right way, which is pretty unique for that position because at the end of the day, one guy's going to get the ball, right? But they're all supporting one another, they're all helping each other, and it's been really cool to see.
You had said that you thought your kids were gonna have culture shock, that they had no knowledge of how fast this was gonna be.
Right.
What's it been like, and where is it today compared to day one and day two when you put them out there?
Yeah, I mean, it was that initially, right? They thought they knew what playing fast was, and they've learned very quickly, what lens they're looking through it at versus what lens we're looking through it at. We've taken some really good strides, right? We're not game ready by any sense right now, and we won't be by Saturday, and that's okay because we don't have to be. But Coach Sobel and his staff with the strength and conditioning department will do a great job this summer to really get our legs underneath us and to get our work capacity to where it needs to be so that we can play and operate at the tempo that we want to. But I'm pleased with the strides that we've made. I'm pleased with the way that the defense is communicating, and that can continue to get better, right? But that's really advantageous for them as well, to where they have to be locked in, they have to be focused to receive their signals and their communication, to be able to play and to operate. So it's good for the whole organization, not just offensively, the manner in which we play and the style in which we play. And I like where we're at and the direction that we're headed.
Which of the new wide receivers from the portal have made the biggest jump? Who stood out?
I think that Jaysean Polk has made the most wild plays, right? And he stood out the most with his physicality that he brings with ball in hand and the value that he'll add, not only offensively but special teams-wise as well. And then Nate Bennett and LB have done a really good job. They both bring different skill sets to the table. And Nate is probably a more refined route runner right now at this point in time, but LB has a ridiculous catch radius, and it's kind of like, if you put the ball anywhere near him, he's going to have a way to find that catch and make that reception, which is great to see. But Polk has been the most consistent. Polk has offered, the most explosive plays, and right now he can probably do the most things with a complete skill set that those other guys are coming along and bringing to the table.
All your linemen wear name tags. What's it been like to have to refill virtually everything, offensive front, defensive front?
It's been a great challenge, right? It's been a great opportunity. It's given us an opportunity to really establish the physical identity that we want to have, and that work's never done. And we're going to continue to, work through all the different ways that we can get that done through development and talent acquisition. But it's been a lot of fun to have that opportunity and to see our coaches embrace, their role to lead those guys and to push them in the right direction.
How much weight? Go ahead.
Oh, you said Carolina ball coach. I watched that Ohio State spring game on Saturday for about 20, 25 minutes. They weren't even tackling.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy?
Yeah, I mean, so, everyone's team's in a different place, in a different space, right? We're going to do some live work. We're going to do some hitting. We'll do some competitive things. We'll do some live tackling, right? We've been very judicious about how many times that we do that. I mean, the live work is limited. I think we've grown as coaches to know what your team needs, when you need to do it, and how you need to do it. So, obviously, that's what Coach Day thought was good for his team. Anytime that we get dressed in full, to me, if you're going to get dressed in full, you might as well play the game full speed and full live work. And so we're going to do that on Saturday.
How much weight does a spring game get in the overall evaluation? Or is it just 1 out of 15?
It's 1 out of 15, right? I mean, again, it's a Saturday, right? And we talked about that, I think it was last Tuesday, and those opportunities that these kids have where we create as much game-like situations as possible. And I think this one's a little bit unique because it'll be the first time for all of us to be in Snapdragon, right? I think we've got over 5,500 tickets that are already allocated, right? And so, get some people and some butts in the stands, and when the lights come on, relatively speaking, right, see how guys respond. Like, you'll make note of that, but it's not like it's the final that accounts for 80% of their grade. There's a lot, of work that's already been put in that we're constantly evaluating. But again, it's another opportunity to go compete. It's another opportunity to go play. And if you're gonna have a winner, you're gonna have a loser at the end of it, right? You want to see that competitive spirit and that competitive maturity for guys to go compete and win, and not just check the box.
Will a public depth chart be released after the spring?
No. I mean, we'll do that as we get closer to media day with all of it.
Coach, it won't obviously show in wins and losses in the spring, but how do you determine if the spring is a success?
I think right now, again, with the growth that we've already proven that to have, and where that practice tape has looked like from practice 1 to where it is now, it's been a success, and we got some momentum that we've built here since we've come back from spring ball. Again, with the installations going down, with the way the kids have been working, and if we can consistently carry that through and carry that positive momentum into the summer, then it'll be a great success as we move forward with it.
And how have you personally seen yourself grow as a head coach being here so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different time, and it's a different space, right? And so kind of detaching, and it's for the first time where I don't have a position room that I'm ultimately responsible for, so it's been great to kind of float and get to where I need to go with all of it and kind of take more of a CEO approach. Like, that's been a unique and a different role for me, but it's been fun to embrace and to kind of have my hands in the mix of a lot of different things as we've went forward with it. And I know there's still a ton of areas that I can improve and get better on and live our number one core value of improving and competing each and every single day. Like, I got to be a better head coach for everyone in the organization because I'm not game ready and where we need to be, and I need to continue to grow and do this thing at a championship level for all of us that are a part of this team.
And setting the tone in practice, obviously you come out with a lot of high energy. Kind of describe that. Why do you do that?
I mean, I love what I do. I mean, simply put, like, I love what I do, and I'm very, very humbled to be able to lead these guys. And I think it's our job as coaches, and particularly as the head coach, right? Like, if I don't embody all the things that we're asking our kids to do, these kids are really, really smart. They're going to look to me and be like, well, coach says X, Y, Z about ABC, but then he comes out here and he doesn't have any juice. He doesn't have any energy, right? They'll look at me like, coach is a hypocrite, right? And so simply put, like, I want our kids and I want to be around people in our organization that love what they do, that have a passion for this game, that love to compete, love pouring into other people. And so I'm going to do that because I'm passionate about those things. And, it's gotten me to this point, and I think there's a duty and an obligation that we have as coaches, right, to the finite amount of time that these kids have, right, to create an environment and to create a space and to lead in a manner that allows these guys to maximize their ability and their time here on the Mesa, and I'm never going to take that for granted.
Coach, what you put in at BG, what you accomplished at Kent, where did this come from? Who's been the biggest influence on your X's and O's philosophy as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of different people. Was fortunate to sit in the room as a player with Coach Chris and learn some football from him at a really, really high level. Got to be around Bob Bosted, who was my tight ends coach for some time at Wisconsin as well, who I think is a premier offensive line coach. So learning from those guys as a player, and then all the stops that I've had, throughout my tenure, but none more influential than Coach Dino Babers, right? Who took a chance on me when I was a young, dumb coach that didn't know anything, and I was just a blank canvas who happened to be from the Chicagoland area, and he needed a Chicagoland recruiter, and he poured into me and always prepared me for the next opportunity. But he taught me to play tempo. He taught me how to operate at this speed that we want to go. And then through him challenging me and the game evolving and defenses adapting, right, you just have to stay at the forefront of it and get around some smart people and ask why a bunch, and then fit it and make it work for where you're at and the players that you have, so that you can build it and mold it for their strengths, right? Again, like, it's each year we're going to roll this offense out, and I like to equate it that it's going to be like a Ferrari, right? Like, it's going to go fast, but each make and model of Ferrari is a little bit different, and what this 2024 version will be uniquely its own, right? And then as the years go along, we'll modify it, we'll tweak it, we'll grow, and we'll change, but it's going to be fast.
I had a coach in the MAC tell me you're a mad scientist. What are your responses?
Okay. I mean, we like to, I think if you're not pressing limits, if you're not pressing boundaries, right, and you're just kind of living in that status quo, that things get boring for the kids. It gets boring for me. So, we want to challenge ways that we're doing things, and we can get some inspiration from things that other people are doing, but we want to make it uniquely our own. And so if that makes us a little bit crazy, or we get the label as a mad scientist, cool, so be it.
Is your offense an offshoot of the run and shoot? I mean, how would you describe the other stuff that's arrived, throwing the ball down the field, five wides and all that? Is yours like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's elements of that, right? It's I don't know, our offense is probably a mutt that you find at the pound that you end up bringing into your home that you love forever and ever and ever, right? It's got a little bit of everything to it. It's not a pure blood of any one thing. But man, it's ours, and we absolutely love it, right? You got some run and shoot principles, you got some veer and shoot principles, you got some two-back Badger principles. There's some more two-back influence with Coach Schmidt's background to it, and then again, right? There's pieces that fit and that play because of the people that we have in this building here and now that we've never had, right? So it's going to be a little bit of everything, and I think that's what makes it fun for our kids to grab hold of as they're trained and developed in it. There's not going to be an element of the game that when they sit with NFL decision makers that they don't know about, right? They can talk about ball at a very high level and conceptual understanding of, hey, West Coast principles, inside zone, outside zone, screen game, flood concepts, high-low concepts, crossers, shallows. You have it, whatever it is, like we got it in our system. So that helps develop guys at a really high level, and it's a fun system to be a part of.
Was there a position group that grasps the fast concept, quicker than others, or the light bulb went off, you're like, oh, this is great, I don't have to worry about these guys as much? And on the other end of that, is there a group that was, maybe struggled that early on that made the biggest leap?
I worry about everyone all the time, right? Like I think that's just treating these guys like my own sons. Like I worry about you're raising them the right way, right? But you're always kind of peeking around the corner or over the hedge to see what you can help them with. I think the quarterbacks did a good job digesting everything. We put a lot on them. We put a lot on everyone, but I think the quarterbacks have done a really nice job kind of, grasping hold of it all, so that gives us a chance to go and to operate with them being the decision makers. I think the tight ends, we throw a lot on their plate as well, have done a really nice job. I don't think anyone was like so far behind the curve where I was like, oh, we got to spend extra time with them. I think, again, it kind of goes back to the question earlier, just them learning and understanding the lifestyle, that they need to lead and how we play in this manner, right? That there's going to have to be some modifications to that, right? Like some of the big boys up front realize well, this is all predicated on us getting set and us going fast. And so those guys embracing it so that we can go has been really, really good to see as we've gone forward with all this.
The transfer portal is open now. It's a short window. Like, you obviously knew it was coming, but like, what challenge does it present this final week of spring practice?
Yeah, I mean, aware of it, and I think the biggest challenge that probably everyone's facing, right? I think as we were walking in here, Coach Dillon was telling me that there's something like over 600 players that have already jumped in, right? And so just vetting through all of that and seeing if anyone fits or can help us as we move forward with all this, that's just the biggest challenge of it all, is that, all right, hey, there's this small window of time that you alluded to, and the sheer volume and quantity of players that are in and how fast you got to make some high-speed decisions here that aren't going to disrupt, all the hard work that we've done within our culture and within our locker room, but yet still find some pieces that can add value, right, in positions of need and things that, we need to continue to build out this roster to get it to a championship level as we move forward.
How many scholarships have you got that you might be able to use?
I got a few in my back pocket still.
How many?
To be determined, right? I mean, there's still work that we got to do on our end as well as we move forward with it.
There's a couple of ex-Kent State and Colorado guys that are in that portal. Have you had contact with any of them? Have they contacted you?
Nothing as of yet.
How disappointed were you not to be able to show your softball skills at the Padres Fan Fest? And are you playing golf on Friday?
I got over pretty quickly the rain out. I was okay with that. And I will be at the golf event on Friday. I think they got me posted up on a hole, and might be able to do like a, take coach's shot here or there. So it's been a long time since I've touched my clubs here through the transition. So need to dust that off in a hurry.
Can I ask you? Go ahead.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, the experience at Colorado became must-see TV very early in the season. Everybody was fascinated by what you did with Shooter Sanders, et cetera. Did everybody catch up to you defensively? The injuries kind of cave you in at the back end? Because it wasn't quite the same team, and he took an awful lot of hits. But was it a valuable thing you experienced at that next level? Heck
yeah. I mean, the opportunities that you have to grow and to compete against high-level coaches is never a bad thing, right? So everything that played out, the scars that were accumulated through the hard times there, I wear with pride and I wear with honor, and those are lessons that I've learned that I'll be able to carry forward here to make our organization great here and to put our kids in a great position to be successful as we move forward on the Mesa here.
What was it like to coach Sanders at quarterback?
It was great. It was a great experience. He's a great player, and I'm not sitting here unless it's because of his ability, right? So it was an awesome experience.